Alright. Last session was a time. Emberlosa had a run-in with tieflings, some half-orcs. Nobody died. I was surprised by that. Y'all went to sleep for the night and woke up in a cave. A lot of crazy shit happened. Trying to describe all the important bits would basically just be, doing the session all over again. So let's just get right to it. I mean, they're pretty goddamn rare, even in Haven. So you would all definitely notice when a red-skinned tiefling woman walks in.
Is
Not,
it who I think it is?
not in the gold and white that you remember from your lucid dream, but still definitely the same woman, dressed in a significantly more native Glycellen looking outfit with a hood thrown over her head that has holes poked in it so that her horns can poke through. TLDR, because I lost my train of monologue, yes, it's Temperance.
Okay.
She's not looking too hot.
Teo's gonna stand up and immediately walk over.
I mean, you're all pretty goddamn noticeable, so she pretty much notices you the second she walks through the door too. And she's just
But I'm
gonna
gonna meet
walk
her in
up,
the middle.
and she's going to walk up and just bear hug Teo.
Oh, hello again. So, I take it our experience last night wasn't exactly a dream?
Oh, you're alive. She's gonna take a step back and brush herself off and pretend like the hug didn't happen. She's definitely looking a little unsteady as she wanders over and sits down. It's pretty fucking easy, even without an insight check, to tell that she clearly wasn't actually expecting Teo or any of you to be here.
Oh boy.
But she's looking a little bit lost right now.
I
Q is
mean, as if we have all the answers.
Q is going to lean over, like mouth half full of food, and be like, "Hey, who's this?"
We dreamed about her last night.
Remember, she doesn't remember. She wasn't sane.
Right. Right.
Close personal friend of Teo's.
Right.
Fiance?
No.
I
Oh.
was his
No.
fiance.
No, I.
How'd you know? You don't remember anything.
Aside from the fact that I'm 25 years younger than him?
Hey, I just, I'm
I'm-
not judging what you guys are into. Love is love.
Pardon?
Ignoring that, I think you just figured out what your age is, Teo.
How old am? How old am I?
Are we counting, the last year?
Let's not.
42?
Okay.
Okay, boomer.
Well, that's one question answered. That's at least something. Right. Perhaps you can fill us in. The day that we all acted strange, what happened when we woke up?
You all snapped right back to normal, didn't remember anything. Well, I mean, you did remember things, just not anything after you entered the cave.
Right. And about how long after that day did things go far south?
What would you define as far south?
Well, considering the five of us woke up on a battlefield of corpses, that's about as much as I can gather.
After the weird whatever the fuck happened, you woke back up, didn't remember anything about the cave. We described what you described to us, and you all went back in, came out pretty fucked up, and you were spouting a lot of bullshit. Or, I'm sorry, you were spouting a lot of suddenly significantly less insane sounding things about mushrooms and demons and all sorts of things.
Right.
And it was probably about 3 months later that we ended up facing nightmares.
Uh,
So, by
like,
facing nightmares, what do you mean?
I mean, I don't really know how to describe
You going to
what we're
sleep?
fighting.
Oh,
Not literal nightmares. We were very much awake. Everybody was very much awake. It was just a massacre,
Huh.
which is the problem.
Where did they come from?
I don't know because Teo sent me away,
I
Hmm.
did.
which is why I'm not dead, but it also means that I'm not going to be much help for information about the final bit. We didn't really have enough survivors for much information other than shadow creatures and trance gone really dark.
And were there
So,
What about people made out of
others?
mushrooms?
Other than the mushrooms described in the cave, I haven't heard anything. I've been obviously keeping an eye out from the Dragonspire ever since, but outside of, I don't know, something I recently heard about Romhells, not much.
And
to hear about Romhells.
Apparently a researcher from Romhells was murdered, and there was a something about mushrooms in the woods, and I don't know. It all sounded crazy to me.
uh, we
Know their name?
can actually shed some light on that later.
Whose name? Sorry.
Um, the mushroom researcher.
It was Miss something Stone. Daria?
Hmm.
She's related to somebody up in the capital, but they're all Glycellan.
So we may need to go to Glycella.
We're
You
in
We are
Glycellen.
in
Glycellen.
Glycellen.
Hmm.
And were there other survivors?
Probably a
Besides-
handful, mostly people who deserted, so it's been kind of hard tracking them down.
And what have you just been at the Dragonspire this entire time since then, or?
I've been splitting the time between looking for Raphael and trying to keep up the head of. Well, I mean, everybody else who was important to the Dragonspire is dead or missing, so it's kind of just me.
Are you saying that it's not very well manned right now, or?
We have numbers that I don't think I'd like to say in Haven.
Understood. Understood. And Raphael is missing? For how long?
Almost 2 years.
Mm. And where was he last seen?
Uh, researching, researching in Haven. He's, always been very smart, but not full of common sense.
Right. Okay. Okay. This is.
I can't get into more detail about it. I just think that should be a conversation in private.
Yes, yes, of course.
Oh fuck. What's up?
I just said I was saying to Temperance, now that she's here, it's proven something for me, and I need to take care of something very quickly, which I'm sure you would approve of, Yvette.
Sure, of course. What? Why are you telling me?
Because you got his name.
Oh! Are we talking about Ben Tavera?
Yes. Yes.
Gilder,
Yes.
Gilder Place.
Yes.
I'm surprised you
You
didn't remember
know,
the name of the
that's
town,
you know what?
honestly.
That's pretty close. But props to that, I guess.
What's crazy is I got in and I saw session 20 and I was like, fuck, I'm not remembering this another week. I can barely remember things week to week.
I wrote it down for you, Lucy. Don't worry.
Love you, Blake.
Maybe if you think that would help, I specifically told him he was the one that needed to remember.
I know, but I remembered it as Teo because I figured it would be later.
Oh, it helped. I
Yes.
can't remember who said this, but someone said he owned the Gilder Dome.
I didn't.
was
Wrong.
Yeah,
that
I
was a
didn't.
joke at the end of the
Yeah.
session.
I wasn't expecting
know.
Ben Gildersleeve, owner of the Gildersleeve Gilderdome, to be a canon fact.
It is now. He just made a small investment of 4,000 platinum. But Zaz, I believe I counted correctly on this. So let's see.
A small loan of 4,000 platinum.
Ben Tavera, this is Deo Castellano reporting in. Do you still have the staff? If yes, where? Report post haste.
Alright, now I have to do math.
Man, this dude's about to have the weirdest fucking
I probably just gave
mental
him a
silence.
fucking heart attack.
He Dude
Be
is
like,
probably
"Nah,
like
we're going
just
1.5
like
flat."
peacefully reading a book or something and
Yep.
just like, oh god, the voices, they're back.
If he's in the middle of pawning the staff when that happens.
He's waited all this time, and it's just as he's about to sell it that someone contacts him about it.
He's like, nah, but I got 4K plat.
Holy shit, sir.
Yes.
No offense. We thought you were dead. The staff. I'm sorry, I'm doing math.
The staff only sold
staff-
for 2,000 platinum.
The staff is with Major Henschel at Shadowkeep. He didn't want me to keep it. 25.
Temperance, where is Shadowkeep?
Huh. It's a prison in the middle of the desolate wasteland.
Great.
Why do you ask?
That's where our staff is, apparently.
Doesn't Major Henschel have it?
Yes. And for some reason, he's in Shadowkeep.
Might have
I
gotten
left my staff
promoted
to Ben.
or sent away. Shit, did he desert?
Could not tell you. That is what the guard informed me of.
She shoots a couple concerned looks over at Q.
There is no response. I'm mostly actually focused on whatever I'm eating right now.
Alright. That garners a few more concerned looks in and of itself.
I'm just gonna, assuming she understands Imperial, I'm just gonna mutter to her something along the lines of, yes, she woke up screaming this morning. I'm not going to question this calm attitude right now. Don't push it.
You don't remember, I wanna be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
No, because I've always fucking
That
hated
is
hot dogs,
truly
and
what I wanna be.
I've always
Alright,
fucking hated
We're
hot dogs.
gonna stop that.
800-588 1-800
2300
Empire 2300 fuck today.
Geico really save you 15% on more in car insurance?
All
The little
Stanley
pig
Steamer
cry
and
wee
carpet
wee
cleaner.
wee all the way home.
I'm gonna
This
turn on
advertisement-
ad block now. I think the DM is trying to start.
This advertisement is for Jim Booney only.
Okay. Last session, you talked to a lot of people and did a lot of things.
Wow, that was descriptive.
One way to say it.
Last session, you guys hung around Haven. Teo met or re-met up with his ward who thought he was super fucking dead. Mostly because everybody thought that all of you were super dead. Q made some progress with her mental break, mostly by repressing all of it. Amberlosa got a fancy deck that she hasn't done anything with because she's not.
I was doing charitable work.
Don't believe that for a second.
with
I was
your
helping a kid. That is charitable work.
Mm-hmm.
with your large, angry purple Russian bodyguard.
Is it bad? I kind of hope it's just a deck of playing cards.
I mean, as a player, for your sake, you better fucking hope it is.
I just think it would be really funny.
So, you were planning on leaving Haven?
Then, Teo, I'm aware of this additional company. Don't think I haven't noticed. I just have said nothing.
You mean the whole ass other winged tiefling?
Yeah. Again, she's noticed. She just hasn't said anything. And I don't know if that puts
She
Tail
knows
at
all of
ease.
you.
I know, but like, she's and she's watched the interactions and hasn't said anything. So I'm wondering if that puts Tail more at ease or more anxious.
Mm.
I bet she and Carrion bond over the struggles of having wings.
She's definitely trying to be friendly with everybody over the course of the trip to Frostfang Pass.
Oh god damn, that is a mistake.
Anytime and every time that she's trying to be friendly with it, that there is a lot of glaring.
She's trying to be friendly with everybody.
There's
And and she also sings.
I will point out that Q will repeatedly bother Temperance with all sorts of questions, like why do you and Carrion look so alike but you're red? And also, depending, may try to imitate the singing.
Oh boy.
She is definitely the most openly unsure of how to respond to Q. And I'm not sure how Q would respond to being referred to as Aradia.
I mean, people have called me a bunch of random names before, so I'm used to it.
All
I
right,
just it
good
just
to know.
it just is filed with all of that.
All right, but she'll handle the attempts at mimicking her traveling songs with dignity and a healthy dose of ignoring it. Morning comes from your night at the Frostfang Passes Inn, though, and you are faced with the path into the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell from the first 15 minutes of walking that taking the horses attached to a cart could prove to be a perilous endeavor, potentially.
Is it possible to leave the cart behind at the inn?
They'll charge you per day of holding
How much?
silver and 5 copper. You do notice one thing, though, Teo, as you near the end of your shift and you're walking along the camp. As
Mhm.
you spy it, you edge further away from the campfire and you move your shoe parallel to a footprint that you see on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And when you compare the two, your foot is maybe a fourth of the size of this footprint.
Okay.
As you
Is
look
it
around, you do see that it is a proper set of tracks. This is just the deep, probably because it's so good mud puddle.
okay? But the important question here, is it like a footprint that's in shoes or boots or something, or is it just barefoot?
Barefoot,
Okay.
humanoid.
Oh boy. Okay. I will probably ask Temperance if that means anything to her before we hand over the watch.
She will reiterate that there is 100% a cloud giant village mountain range. And that if
Alright.
there are such fresh footprints, that might mean one is traveling around the area and we should be careful.
I will pass that information on to Carrion and Amberlosa.
Fantastic. Well, that could have been a colossal problem.
But
Are we just gonna let that sit there? That pun?
I've chosen
Yeah.
not to acknowledge it, personally.
not to acknowledge what?
Exactly.
Don't worry, in post I'll add a laugh track to this.
Shortly before daybreak, as you...
Daybreak.
Yes,
That is the term for dawn, darling.
fuck, words.
Dusk?
Sundown.
Dusk,
Sundown,
yeah.
dusk,
Sundown.
sunset.
Whatever.
Day
Shortly
stop.
before... Yeah, day stop. Shortly before day stop, you you run into a part of the path that is minorly challenging to get the horses up. It's not quite enough that I would make you roll a check for it. It's more just time consuming and getting them to realize that they can in fact climb a small rock without having a panic attack,
Uh-huh.
as horses do.
I hate
Uh-huh.
horses. That's Paco talking.
I mean, same as Blake.
And it is as one of the horses gives an anxious noise that you feel the ground shake, like rocks grinding against each other. And
This is a huge problem.
God damn it.
the shake continues after a moment, like a footstep almost.
I'm patting the horses, I'm trying to calm them.
Time for bait.
Teo is gonna give you literally the nastiest possible glare.
Can that be our go-to anytime something's about to go like slightly wrong?
Teo is gonna throw
The-
more venom in that glare than you have anything else you've done or said.
The
What?
shaking of your
Is this a
surroundings
suggestion?
picks up intensity, and you can start to hear the sounds of something large trudging through the landscape. You flatten yourselves to the whatever you can potentially find to give you any sort of cover, except for Teo, who presses himself to the horses instead.
My furry children. My host kids.
And eventually, coming into sight is a massive giant in rough spun clothes with a scraggly beard and wild hair, but a relatively not exactly the stories that Amber Losa would be the only one would have heard about them being just dirty, mindless monsters,
Oh.
basically.
Yoo-hoo!
I'm gonna slap you.
Ow, hey!
The slap rings across the clearing almost louder than Q's.
I mean, Killian's pretty
And
strong, so yeah.
and the The shaking pauses as the giant stills for a moment, massive head swinging in your direction. It seems to notice the horses before any of the people around the horses, but Teo is the first one to be noticed because of that. The giant rumbles low in its chest, a sound that you can feel more than you can hear, and it begins to make its way closer to you as it's currently about 150 feet away.
Not to take a page out of Q's book, but I'm going to wave hesitantly in greeting.
I would be waving if I wasn't rubbing the back of my head.
We are just passing through. Not intending to get in your way.
Soldiers.
Visitors, I think. I'm not really sure what we would be classified as.
He his eyes land on Q, and he gives another grumble that sounds significantly less friendly, and repeats in a more pressing tone. Soldiers.
I wave at him.
Teo, I don't think roundabout conversation. I understand what he means.
But we need to get through,
I
Ambrosa.
make a gesture of like everyone excluding Q and point to the direction we need to go and point to Q and point the direction he's pointing. Or they're pointing.
It'll give a rough nod and a less threatening sounding noise.
Oh. Hmm.
So, I take it that first thing past is current occupants are not very friendly with the mountain's occupants. I'm saying this to Amberlos.
Yeah, that would be the rough estimate. We need to pass through, but I'm not too keen on fighting right now. Weird feeling. I've been hanging around you too much.
Technically, Q is not one of their soldiers. She is just dressed similarly.
Okay. Just gotta go through spells really quick and. Out of curiosity, do you have such a wonderful clerical spell known as Spare the Dying?
I do. I. Oh. Oh. I do have that, yes. And I don't know that I like that question now that I think on it.
I mean, I'm going to take out one of my little bottles of ink that I have, and so this giant can see it. Set it up on the stone. Point to Q. And point to the ink, then point to Q. Just so they can hopefully make the connection. Soldier, yeah?
It stares at you.
I firebolt the ink.
You do realize I can see you, right?
I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna
Then
jump
I
on a
point
horse and
to-
ride up the mountain.
Hey, no, I'm with the horses. You are not doing that.
I can ride a horse.
You are not touching my horses.
How are you going to attempt to stop her, Teo? There's a wisdom saving throw for the horse, I assume?
For Q.
For Q? Alright.
I'm doing this if I see her
Oh,
even
it
getting
does say-
close to the horses.
I was about to say it's weird to try and hold person on a horse.
Yeah, I just forgot it was hold person for a second.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No offense, but get fucked.
Yeah, I have my spell now.
Oh boy.
Stop.
Stop. On.
Yeah.
On Q.
Okay, I'm just saying there are two. There are
There-
multiple. There is a cloud giant. There's a Teo. There's a horse. There's a
Oh, so yeah,
Q.
this one could legit target the horse.
I don't think the horse is intelligent enough. I don't believe that. This is Ambros's belief.
You would be incorrect. That horse graduated.
Get
top of
fucked
its
also.
class. On cue.
Oh my god.
All right.
Can I get on this horse now?
It takes
I-
their survival instincts kicking in for Q to actually have good wisdom saving throws.
It's not their survival instincts coming out because they're trying to rush the fucking cloud giant.
I'm not rushing a cloud giant. I'm running away from it.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going-
going the opposite direction. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's why I
Who
said
the
I'm
fuck
trying to
rushes
ride
a
away.
Cloud giant?
Good. That is significantly better. I'm significantly
no.
less worried about your general.
I think Amberlos is going to
Teach her a
kill
lesson.
me, so I'm
Charge
trying to
the cloud
get
giant.
away, but still away from the cloud giant too, which I also now think is going to kill me.
All right. The cloud giant does seem to relax when Q takes off.
Amberlos is just gonna find a comfortable like rock or wherever and just sit down and wait for it to leave.
All right.
Q, you bring Agravain back right now.
No, I'm gone.
Is that how she responds, or does she not
No,
respond at all?
I'm legit just gone.
No,
Like, I got
he
on the
I
horse
cast
and
cast
rode
sending.
away. Oh,
I
I didn't see that
cast
part.
sending.
You don't get anything.
the cloud giant is going to give you all a once over to double check and make sure you all meet his satisfaction for not being a soldier. Teo gets some beady eyes with that armor, but ultimately the wings save him. He'll wander away though,
I will
shaking
wait.
the world as he continues his plodding path north.
I will continually wait for a very, very long time until the rumbling stops. And
Q,
I'm not lying, this is the result Amberlos expected.
Q,
If that
Come.
doesn't work, I can go find her.
Q,
You good?
come back. The giant is gone. Emberlosa was never going to hurt you. Please come back.
I will turn around, but I still won't say anything. I will go up the hill more cautiously than going down it.
All right.
Keep a lookout that they're, large, angry, giant-shaped objects. Q's not getting off this horse.
I'm talking soothingly to the horse, whether her Q is on it or not.
The horses like me.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
this has
talking-
not just been a fun adventure for Agravain.
Agravain is getting a lot of murmured Imperial in his direction. And
Oh,
promise.
great. That means Carrion can hear it. You can't even spare me? Fuck.
You have to listen to Teo's sweet talk a horse.
Ugh.
There's a lot of promise of apples in its future at some point.
Nightfall, unfortunately, robs the sight of most of its splendor, but as you turn the corner and the path leads out to a wide, flat area, you see the walls of what would have at one point been an imposing keep. It's set into the mountainside in a way that provides defense both with its walls itself and just the fact that it's half buried in the goddamn mountain. And any heraldry or banners have long since been torn off or just left exposed to the elements for too long. There are torches, though, lit on the battlements, giving you some level of light. Temperance immediately relaxes when the keep comes within eyesight and kind of skips ahead of the rest of the party. I'll go let everyone else know what's going on. You just, yeah, they might need some warning first. And she's gonna run ahead of the rest of you to go warn important people that their commanders are not dead
Yet.
yet.
I have a much more interesting question now to follow, since we've been traveling with them for a tiny bit. Who in the hell is this?
Temperance?
I have vague memory, yeah.
An imperial associate of ours from the past, apparently.
And somewhat of a higher connection to you, it seems.
So it would seem, yes.
Hmm.
To
It's
talk
an
later.
interesting note.
We can talk about it later.
Oh, we don't have to talk about it at all. I have a educated guess.
Hmm. Q, I think you can get off the horse now.
I don't get off the horse now.
You make your way at a more sedate pace towards the keep, and by the time you pass through the wide doors, which have already been temperate, there is a small retinue of two very finely dressed half elves and a human in heavy armor. The human is holding a torch, and a small mage light is affixed to one of the mage's staves. As they all look at your group like they are seeing ghosts.
Might be seeing ghosts and we just might not know it.
Yeah, how fucked would that be if there's actually a group of ghosts right behind us?
Temperance is hovering next to the armored human, just kind of like you catch the tail end of her catching these people up as you arrive.
Hello.
Oh, for she is fucking tits.
I'm gonna like tilt my head at that because that feels really not good to say. It's like a narrowed eye, like head tilt of like, the fuck did you just say?
You wake up the next morning. you are. I mean, you're in a relatively safe space, so the keep is not besieged in the middle of the night. What are you all up to?
I mean, I'm gonna start exploring the keep a little bit more now.
I
Now that
was
there's
also
light.
gonna explore.
Everyone's exploring.
I'm gonna join up with whatever counts for leadership here.
All
I
right.
want to know what's going on.
Well, I have some bad news for you, Teo.
Yeah,
You are leadership.
I'm aware.
You
I'm
are. You are presumably everybody's boss here except for, the other player characters.
Oh, beautiful. Well, guess I gotta get reacquainted with everything, find out everything I can.
I'm more just wondering where everybody's first target is, so I know how to separate the groups narratively.
My first thing is just like exploring outside the building, so like along the walls and stuff.
Alright.
I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna go in and explore that way.
Explore where?
Just explore more inside than along the walls.
Alright. Q?
I already saw the walls and I want to see inside, but Amberlosa's always going to go inside. But I'm going to be doing this thing where I see Amberlosa is going inside. I'm going to stop, and it's going to be this awkward thing where I'm always like 20 feet behind Amberlosa.
There are different buildings you could go to. I
I
just
know,
threw
but I want to be
Amberlosa
this
at the.
shadow.
Oh,
This
okay.
incredibly large, clanking shadow.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So Amberlosa and Q both decided to explore the main keep then. This keep is pretty fucking wrecked. And as you are wandering around, Q trying to keep her distance from Amberlosa, Amberlosa wanders along the edge of the walls, and as you are wandering, you brush your hand against one of the doors and feel a weird, almost like a static shock
Now that
that sends your
doesn't
hand twitching away.
feel right at all.
The door itself is dark wood, banded with some sort of metal. It's kind of hard to tell. And as you lean in to inspect the door handle itself, there is a small arcane sigil etched into it.
Do I have an inkling as to what that is?
You're not entirely certain exactly which one it is. It is unfortunately a divine magic, not arcane like you are.
Hmm. Huh. Divine magic. I'll keep this area in mind. I'm not going to try and mess with it further. Well, if Dare isn't busy having the two horses bob full of apples, maybe I'm going to take a look at this. And Q, you're being ridiculous. I can notice the deliberate distance.
There's a brief like clatter as she attempts to like hide behind something incredibly too small for her to hide behind.
He steps behind a shattered chair.
Or a headless bus, showing like the regular
It
bus
cuts
of the
off at the
chest
neck.
and then her head.
Yeah.
Lord.
Again, you're being ridiculous. I had no intention of launching any sort of spell at you. The reaction is what I wanted. I did get that. It satisfied the giant. You were fully in belief of it, thus being the most convincing. And then everything all worked out. Now, if I had let everyone in on the plan, that would have been counterintuitive. It would not have been genuine.
I will leave my hiding spot.
Don't touch the door, it shocks you.
Did you do this to me before we
Do
died?
what?
And I'm
Do
gonna
what?
sort of, Zaz, I'm gonna sort of like, sort of unhinge and like tug down the front part of my armor to show just like the top part of the scar across my chest, the burn.
Mhm.
It looks
Amberlosa,
fairly
this
lethal.
does remind you of a certain dream in terms of the placement.
Reminds me of what you cut out part of it.
A certain dream in terms of placement.
Oh. There's a possibility, though it escapes me. I'm not entirely sure what she would have done to incur such infernal fury.
Why don't you remember? You remember the most. You're the one who's the most real.
There is the concept of reality. People who are real. Real people act more fake than they do honest.
Like faking out someone to escape a cloud giant.
Yeah, something similar like that. But that, I'm not entirely sure whether I did that or not. If I did, I imagine I would have had a reason. I don't have a reason for it now, so therefore, can you alleviate your worry from that?
But if you found that reason again, it wouldn't be a trick, would it? Next time? That time?
Probably not.
He was just going to turn and look. What's up with this door?
It has divine magic on it, and I am theorizing I have an inability to enter it.
If I touch the door, does it shock me?
It does.
Where is this room in regards to the rest of the keep? I.e., would I know if there was, say, like a window or a floor above?
This is a two-story keep, but it's kind of in the middle of the keep. It doesn't actually share a wall with any of the. It doesn't actually share an outside wall, so there wouldn't be any windows outdoors.
And there's the roof or another floor above us.
There's
right
another
now.
floor above you, and from what you could see from the outside, a lot of the roof is caved in, which is what makes it structurally unsound, because you don't know what step is going to potentially send the entire upper floor falling down on you.
The floor is wood, right?
The floor beneath you is stone.
The floor of the second floor.
It is wood, yes.
My instinct is just go above it on the second floor and punch through the ground.
Right. Could you make me an acrobatics check?
Oh god. Never mind. I'm a fucking unstoppable.
Your search for answers. Amberlosa, are you following Q up or are you staying on the?
I'll follow Q up.
Could you also make me an acrobatics check?
Oh boy.
All right. As you reach the top of the wooden stairs on the left stairwell, set your foot down and you hear this god-awful crunching, splintering noise.
Oh lord.
Not as your foot goes through the floorboard, but as the wooden support beams under the stairs themselves shatter under both of your weight. You
Oh, yeah, I
are
am pretty
quickly
heavy.
You're quickly able to grab onto the top floor and essentially save yourself from a nasty fall. And being 10 feet behind you, Emberlosa will high enough on the stairs to potentially hurt herself with the fall. But it is suddenly significantly more difficult for Ember to join you. Unless you have any magic to assist you in this, or a grappling hook, or
Or yeah,
whatever.
just rope. Somehow we have no rope. What type of fucking
Yeah.
adventuring party are we? I'm gonna look down at Amberlosa. I'm gonna put my hands on my hips. And I'm gonna go, put time. Then I'm gonna go look for, I don't know, something. A ladder, a rope, something on this floor.
The only Imperial she knows, and it's kissing.
She picked it up via watching you.
I will not be explaining that it means whore.
You are the best influence on impressionable young women. Q, you wander around the top floor. It's pretty goddamn easy to figure out which room would correspond to being directly above.
I mean, actually, if I'm already above the room, I'm just gonna try to drop on in. Rather than
Alright.
find anything.
What are you going to use to attempt to chop through this floor, punch through this floor? You're just gonna jump?
Are there floorboards? Can I just... I have a bunch of spears. Can I just lever the boards out?
Yeah, if you can lever the boards out, you're probably gonna have to snap a support beam or two to try and fit yourself through, given how thinly they're spaced together.
I mean, I'll make a hole big enough for me to go through.
All right. Go ahead and just
I'll take a javelin and start prying.
make me a sleight of hand check.
Oh god.
I think that would be the most applicable here because you're doing finesse. The power of the search for knowledge continues to course through Q as she just professionally chops through the floor and drops into a small room. Smaller than you expected, seeing the grand door right next to the shattered throne. It's probably about a 10 by 10 room, and it's kind of hard when you land actually to avoid the center attraction as it damn near reaches the ceiling in a rough carved fox statue, tail tucked neatly over its paws as it stares down at the floor directly in front of it with too many eyes. That is the only fixture in the entire room. Pulled against the tail itself, there is a small, what looks like a thin golden chain that's stretched out directly in front of the tail itself. But that's the only thing even remotely near the spot.
Is this chain attached to the tail or just draped across
It is lined out in a perfectly straight line directly in front of the tail, almost tucked under it, which made it kind of hard to see at first glance. It's probably about as thick as like those like thin gold bracelets, like those thin chain bracelets that got really popular over the summer, where people would wear like 7 or 8 of them.
So it's not like a heavy chain. If I
No,
pull it,
it's
is it attached to anything?
Nope. It picks up nearly weightless in your hand.
Huh. I'll open the door and walk out.
The door shocks you when you try and open it.
Ah, fuck.
I saw that coming.
Who locks both ends of the door magically?
Amberlosa, you hear the doorknob jiggle.
You're like a... ah!
Are you possibly stuck?
How climbable does this statue look?
Pretty
Oh, this'll
climbable,
go well.
honestly. When you think about it, like a fox is like shaped pretty with the back and shoulders, head. There's a lot of handholds.
A fox is shaped like a climbable friend.
You climb this fox statue.
I feel like you're building up some sort of like like karmic justice that's gonna bite you in the ass later, but I could be wrong.
You climb up into the second floor, and luckily, because you did such a good job with it earlier, it does not immediately crumble. Wait.
Um, I'll go with Cal for now. Since I figure Teo and Temperance have a lot to continue catching up on over time anyway. Might as well take this opportunity to get to know some of the others.
Alright. He is less the titled leader of your remaining spellcasters and more just the de facto leader because he's the only chatty one. The others are mostly clerics and sages.
Got you. Right. So, well, this situation is definitely grim, but it could be worse. So what I'm understanding is that we should come up with a plan of sorts to improve our situation as quickly and efficiently as possible. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, if we had the means and if we had the means or the sway to get a stonemason up here without them, snitching on the fact that we're up here and in a lot worse shape than most people think, then that would be a big help.
Right. Okay, so would you recommend that as our primary goal, or?
Stonemason and workers get a building, a roof over our heads. If you intend on having us keep the Dragonspire, obviously.
I think for the sake of safety and a defensible position, it makes the most sense. However, it would also not be a terrible idea to figure out a way to oust our neighbors at the past in some manner or form. Although currently that is not completely feasible.
There's also the fact that Haven probably won't like that.
Yes, well, we need to get Haven on our side somehow as well. But I really, really don't think it's going to be easy to exactly sway an entire town to a more imperial sympathizing way of thinking.
Well, I mean, on one hand, yeah. On the other hand, Haven isn't exactly guys selling. It's not like their government gets anything from the capital.
And therein lies our opening. We have to work somehow in such a way as to earn Haven's alliance or loyalty in a different direction. Although it might be enough to just further sabotage their faith in Glycellin to start, at the very least. There are already a majority of undesirable races. I think that's the majority, yes?
And you think that Haven by itself is going to be able to handle whatever the fuck's in the wasteland, or
No, but I think if we can manage to get Haven's alliance and take the pass from the Ruby Vindicators, we would have the entirety of this valley to work with, and that is a better start than nothing.
and when you've got when you've got the valley, maybe you should think about sending some of the boys home.
That would be my probably first or second course of action after we've secured bases, is trying to get reinforcements here and relief for everyone who's been here for who knows how long.
Years.
Exactly. So it would be best if we could earn back the Empire's favor enough for them to send relief and take our men and women back home to a place where they can rest and be with away from this. But they are not. The Employer is not likely to do that unless we can show them some manner of gain first.
Right.
As far as the Ruby Vindicators go, it is very clear from a very brief interaction with the Cloud Giant on our way up here that the Giants are not a fan of the soldiers there. And we should keep that in mind as far as any planning goes.
I wonder if it's any soldiers.
They
I keep gestures over towards a couple of the archers.
That is something I would like to find out, and perhaps how well does this Flimlog speak common?
Lucas has been working with her. She lives in the quarry, or nearish to the quarry, near enough to the quarry.
Um, After we finish this very, 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 very preliminary catch-up and mild planning conversation, you can point me in Lucas's direction, and together we can come up with something to talk to Flimnog about and see if she can tell us what the opinion on soldiers in general is.
And
Easier said than done.
this is more just a side question.
Yes.
Your traveling companions, the contracts and major.
Her memory is completely gone, as mine. The only one who has any semblance of memory would be Amberlosa, and something tells me she doesn't have complete loyalty to Glycellen itself. Call it intuition, call it she's wanted by the states, what have you.
Wow, just really go into it, I guess.
Cal nods at that, and I mean, if you just maybe keep an eye on Miss Caron while we're here.
I will do so. And I think it would be best if you could perhaps warn everyone that despite her memory loss, avoid talking too many details with her.
Alright?
Just until we figure out where she sits on her opinions and loyalties.
I mean, to be fair, she's not exactly friendly with the Glycellan military to begin with, but
Yes, but from my
Haven
understanding,
is particularly protective of their old military.
right.
You travel down a long path that stretches from the walled Dragonspire to a single cabin for what once was probably the stonemason. It's sitting dilapidated, half caved in roof. What few signs of upkeep you've seen from the Emporia troops are non-existent outside of the walls. The quarry itself was clearly used to build the original keep. It's chiseled layers carving deep into the hills and the mountainside. And in the quarry is a large goat paddock
Oh
and an
boy.
even larger woman.
How large, Zaz?
Very large.
Would you even say giant?
You know, I just might. There is a less giant man who is also in the paddock. He's a ways away from the woman. He's actually chilling near what looks like a giant-sized lean-to.
Oh, not to pull a Q, but just let out uh, a polite salut. You know, casual French hello.
You gotta yell yoo-hoo.
No, salut. Same amount of
Uh,
syllables, ends in the same sound, but it is French and therefore superior.
uh, Lucas's head jerks up at the sound, and the giant is further back into the quarry, but as Lucas stands up and makes his way over to you, she does take notice as well. But she keeps doing what she's doing.
She's living her best goat herding life, man. We gotta support that.
So,
Lucas, I presume?
yes. Um, I mean this in the nicest way possible.
Yes.
He reaches
Yes.
forward and just pats you on the shoulder real quick. Huh.
Admittedly, the most physical reaction I've gotten to my appearance so far. But yes, I am alive. Suffering from very severe amnesia, but alive.
And how may I help you, sir?
I was working with Calcif, and we are sort of trying to come up with a plan to reestablish ourselves a bit better here. Increase morale, increase our standing, essentially, and try a whole multitude of plans.
Right. Um,
Basically, trying to figure out a way out of this rather poor situation.
would you and Miss Carrion like an introduction to Flem?
Of yes, if you do not mind.
Of course. I have been attempting to teach her common, but in all honesty, my learning giant has been coming along much more smoothly, so
Pure curiosity, I imagine it's just because it's easier or there was already a base to work with, but why common and not try to teach her Imperial.
She already understood a bit of common, honestly. And trying to teach a giant Imperial is.
I'm not going to lie, it gives me a great amount of amusement to imagine that.
You can try if you'd like, sir. I have already given up hope.
Perhaps not today, but introductions are in order first.
Uh, he's gonna give you an apologetic look and take a few steps away before bellowing something at Giant.
Teo probably just goes a little wide-eyed, like, oh, that's a noise.
The ground shakes as Flemlog makes her way over to you. She takes and it's almost amusing the amount of care that she takes trying to step around these goats
Oh.
on her way over to the three of you. She is going to immediately take a seat to try and, close the distance between her head and all of yours, but it doesn't help that much.
Teo is definitely going to look at the goats for just a moment because animals. But
And
yes.
after a moment of looking between the three of you as Lucas says something in Giant, she eventually holds out one finger to you, Teo, because you definitely cannot shake her hand.
Well, I'm gonna take the finger, sort of look at it a little, just like amused by the size difference, and then very politely kiss it in a greeting. I am greeting a lady, okay?
Mhm.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Flumlog. And you?
Theo. And this is my companion, Garion. Garion, say hi.
Hello. Kind of. I guess I'll also shake her hand. I don't know. I kind of wave and then shake. Yeah.
You will shake her hand too.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
her finger. Whatever.
And she's just gonna look at the two of you expectantly.
We came here to introduce ourselves and perhaps have a better understanding of you and your people and your opinion on the residents of this valley and peaks. Perhaps uh, an opinion on the small folk in general.
After Lucas finishes translating that for her, she responds to him and he she Flemlog herself is more friendly towards the, as you said, the smaller folk than most of her village. That's why she lives closer to the Dragonspire. She herself doesn't have any particular problem with the citizens of Haven. but the village itself has had attempts in the past to basically attempt to secure. Did I
Ah,
cut out for that?
yes. I think I understood what you were
Secure Haven's safety is basically what they were trying to do, but they angered the village.
Wait, so the giants have tried to secure?
No, Haven has tried to secure Haven's safety by and they angered the giants by doing so.
Ah,
Sorry.
gotcha. Right. Okay. It's something we can work with. As you see, we are trying to determine a way to secure the valley in a peaceful way, in such a way as to not anger the giants, to keep peace between Haven and the giants, but we would very much like to know your village's general opinion of soldiers, or simply the Ruby Vindicators holding the pass.
At the end of Lucas's translation, Flemlog makes a annoyed noise before replying, and they're not fond of the Ruby Vindicators themselves. We just happens to have a she's the goddess of knowledge and beauty, and she doesn't see beauty in uncivilized, by her standards, civilizations.
How barbaric, really. That is no way to treat honored neighbors. Well, Lucas, do let us know if there's any way we can help, of course, or any suggestions that might get us on the village's good side, or at least off of the bad side.
Yeah, I mean, right now I've just been taking the study,
I'm
trying
sorry,
to.
you cut out there.
Right now I've been taking the slow and steady approach, essentially, slowly gaining their trust. If I hear of any grand gestures that we can make in order to endear ourselves to them, then you'll certainly be the first to know.
Please do, and if you would like, I was talking to Calcif about a more general meeting later this evening to sort of figure out where we stand. Um, you are welcome to join that, or if you would rather we just fill you in later, just I leave that up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I should be heading back to the keep in a couple hours.
Of course. Right. Well then, I have nothing else to say, and I would very much like to sort of work out what needs to be done. So I think I will. I think it's fine if we take our leave. Yes, Carrion?
Carrie nods.
Right, and I know I kind of glazed over it at the beginning, but I am Very glad to see you two alive again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see if it's a good or bad omen, yes?
We'll see. He sounds he
Hmm?
could he looks like he didn't really consider that it could have been a bad omen until this point.
I'm not gonna lie, Teo kind of smiles at that.
My money's on bad omen.
Teo is a pragmatist at heart, so he's not gonna take a positive or negative approach. He's just gonna be like, it's one or the other. We'll figure it out. He's gonna he's honestly gonna pat Lucas on the shoulder after the whole poking thing. It feels reciprocated, and then he's gonna bow in Flem's direction because he has no idea what you're supposed to do to say goodbye to a giant.
She will give a massive bow back.
Okay. Then I'm ready to go back to the keep.
Yep.
All right. I'm sorry, Joe. I already forgot. Was
What?
I'm sorry. I already forgot. Did Amberlosa go out the quarry exit or
Yep,
the
quarry
exit?
exit. Quarry
Alright.
exit.
Then you will run into Amberlosa as you are headed back.
Amberosa,
Teo.
what business
Me.
brings you out here?
You're the only one not there.
No, I would have followed Amberlosa.
Oh, you would follow Amberlosa? All right.
Yeah, I was sticking with Amberlosa.
Well, we attempted to explore the keep a little further and decided it was not worth the effort.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Did you
You
find
should-
anything?
The Q found a statue of a multi-tailed wolf or something like that. Supposedly.
Where?
Where?
In the keep. Were you not listening?
Where in the keep?
Uh, sure, I'll just show you.
Why? Yes, that's probably for the best. Amberlosa, could I speak to you for just a moment?
Sure, I am sure this will be delightful.
Why don't you go ahead and start leading
I'm already walking.
Carrion to that place, okay? And we'll join up with you two in just a moment.
Okay.
The
As I
moment
follow
they're out of
Yeah,
the,
I'm gonna follow
the moment
Carrion.
the moment they're out of hearing distance. Amberlosa, for all our sanity and possibly our safety, do not let Q go towards the quarry. There is a cloud giant that is living there. She is our ally apparently, and I really don't think you want Q to rile her up with questions or her mere appearance.
I'm fairly certain if the questions got too strenuous, the giant would take care of the questions.
Possibly. But do you want to be seen as an accomplice to her presence?
Whatever happens, happens, but I'll do my utmost best to make sure things don't get superbly out of hand.
Fair enough. Besides, it's a quarry full of goats, and somehow I don't feel like having you interact with the food supplies. A wise move.
Ah, well. That is a possibility.
But if you want to head back, or you can head to the quarry yourself, I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, now that you've told me what's there, there's no point in exploring it. I already know what's there. You've ruined the fun.
I think we've seen over time this is what I do best.
I'm realizing that.
So kind of you to agree so fast.
So much practicality and no spirit of adventure.
I'm sorry that I want to be productive.
Oh, well. You can be productive and have fun. I managed to do so.
Yes, well. We'll not go into the implications of that, shall we? At least not right now.
Don't you have a statue to find? Why are you interested in such a statue anyways?
I'm not particularly. It's apparently something Carrion is interested in, and I'm not sure if that is a good thing or not.
Hmm.
Could be any number of things.
Ah,
A demon, a monster, a god. None of the above. All of the above.
demon, monster, god, being of another plane, perhaps?
Perhaps.
I
So,
hope the door doesn't electrocute her.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, so if you touch this, watch what happens. And I like
I pat Q on the head because I definitely don't believe her. Um,
I hope it doesn't shock her. I really hope it doesn't shock her.
and I'm gonna try and open the door.
It's not locked for you.
Oh, what?
It was a nice trick.
What? I had to break through a roof.
Hmm.
As you open the door, you come face to face with a not 10 foot tall, an 8 foot tall replica of the figurine in your pocket.
Anything? Any sudden jolt of memory?
Would have felt a jolt if you had touched the door for a bit longer.
Man, someone's bitter.
Wow.
You look up at the face of this box and you feel a sense of tiredness washes over you as you watch as Carrion just sort of topples over.
Oh fuck.
Oh, I guess it was really delayed for you.
Mm-hmm. 1 second.
I know Zaz and Kai aren't here, but I would like to point out that as Karen was walking to the room, Q is like trying to touch the door again to figure out why it's zapping her and not Karen.
And not stop.
Carrion on blue screens.
I would have moved you probably just outside the room.
Okay.
So yeah,
I
you got a
will-
way bigger shock than I did.
You could say that, yes. It was not so much of a shock as I kind of pointed the statue. Apparently, that is me.
No, it's not. You don't look anything alike. It doesn't even have wings. And it's also not purple.
Anyway, Carrion was basically like, yeah, I know we don't look the same, but the fox assured me that we are.
Q is just gonna look like back at the statue, back at you, and then sort of tilt and then like walk over to the statue and you see her like trying to mime where like horns are coming out of it. Maybe.
And said that I had to wake it up somehow, but I do not know how.
Oh, you could just wake it up the way I wake Teo up, and I'm gonna like slap it.
Oh my god.
It's
that has
stone.
already told me more about camp life with this party than any other line. The fox statue does not wake up.
Huh, that usually works. Maybe you should try.
I feel like it might be disrespectful to slap the statue. I don't.
Well,
Would it be like slapping myself?
yeah. If it's you, then you're just trying to wake yourself up, right? Do you want me to slap you?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna slap Carrion.
Oh my god.
Go ahead and make it unharmed.
How far away are Teo and Amberlosa?
You're gonna walk
Like-
into just a slap fest.
That's a fucking
Are you-
good question.
Yeah, let's just say you walk in about now.
Thank god.
Does that beat your AC, Carrion?
It does.
What's your strength, mod?
Plus
Mine?
4.
Oh.
+4. All right, you take 5 bludgeoning damage.
Do you feel
Ouch.
awake?
Very much so, but not in the way I was hoping.
Do you want?
What in the world did we just walk in on, Amberlosa?
I have no idea. I kind of want to continue.
We all need to slap Carrion.
I feel like that's in poor health vernacular, so you may continue to do that. I'm sure Teo is all for that idea. I, however, have rather delicate hands and would rather not.
Personally, I would
Use
rather
them
not
up.
bleed all over her, so no.
But at least your blood's
mm.
slightly aesthetic.
Fair enough point, I suppose. Although I don't really know that's a compliment. Right.
Curiously enough, there's another door in here that we didn't touch, and I don't feel like being electrocuted or falling through stairs, so if someone else
I'll
is
go open
more...
it.
Well, certainly there is.
It shocks the fuck out of you.
See?
Do it!
See? I'm not crazy. I think you could picture you've never seen my face, but I feel like you know the exact face I
Oh,
just
I
made.
know.
I know exactly what face was just made.
Everyone knows.
Should I try?
Sure.
I'm gonna try.
Surprise, surprise. It allows Teo through.
Are you too sure about this shocking door thing?
Yes, I'm
That's-
quite sure. What?
That's
Can
what
I
I
have a
thought, but
light
the first door opened for me. So, but also, and I gesture to the giant "fuck you" statue that correlates to the one in my pocket that Teo has seen.
Yes, the
What's in this
shocking
one?
is a real thing.
What's in this one?
Another giant fuck you statue.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure this is going to be a huge shock to everybody in the call, but it is a rough-hewn stone statue of an armored woman. And clasped in between her two hands, resting all the way to the floor, is a very familiar greatsword that those of you that have seen Teo cast it have seen as his spiritual weapon.
This seems
Huh.
like something more up your alley, and for some reason, I don't think I'm welcome in there.
You know, probably wise.
Different from the room with the fox statue in it, this one is actually decorated. Not hugely decorated, but there's a cushion on the floor as well as a full thing spread out almost rings. There is a small brazier directly in front of the point of the greatsword with what looks like 3 golden coins currently in the dish. Emporia coins.
I don't think I have any of those.
Currently all of your currency is Glycine. All of the currency that you would have had when you woke up, at least.
Yeah, I
Well.
had no currency when I woke up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was planning on trying to my hand at prayer when I got back to the keep anyway, so this is convenient.
I mean, I'm about to try my hand on this statue if the trend holds.
Absolutely not.
But don't.
No,
Kagan said we had to
no,
wait.
no. This is not one of us. This this is this is a statue of a goddess. Please do not slap it. In fact, why don't you three go on, and I will observe this room myself. Yes?
Right, well, now that we officially know how things work out in this keep, I have lost all interest in it and have no desire to be shocked by another door.
Well, maybe there's one that doesn't shock you.
I have a feeling every door here is going to shock me.
Oh. Why?
A matter of intuition.
Well, I literally can't argue with that. Um. Oh, Carrion?
Hmm.
If you are that weird wolf thing,
Fox.
fox thing, then I think this is yours, and I'm gonna give Carrion that chain that I got.
Did you take this from in here?
Mm-hmm. It was right here, and I like point at whatever groove in the tail that it was under.
I'll take the chain.
It would fit around your wrist very well as a bracelet. I think that means you need to make a religion check, Teo.
I'm gonna attempt some Glycellin coins, because it's all I got.
Alright.
To make up for it, I will make it five golden Glycellin coins.
Alright.
To make up for this most egregious insult. I'm also gonna kneel on the cushion because I feel like that's its exact purpose.
I will even let you pick the color because it would have been whatever Teo's favorite color would be. He was the last one to use it.
Probably, I'm feeling red or
Alright.
dark blues. It's one of those feel like his colors, based on
Alright.
his art alone. Oh, it's gonna fit.